Hello, my sweet summer children. I hope everyone had a great Christmas or holiday, and also I hope you have a great new year. Also, I want to thank you guys for sharing your 2017 and 2018 with me. I love you, sweet summer fam. You know, I'm back with the juice to get you through the long night. So in my last video, I talked in depth about all the possibilities and evidence that points to the Night King or the Great Other or the force behind the weirwood net or whatever the enemy is. Basically, R'hllor or the Lord of Light or something similar. If you haven't watched that video, watch that one first, because this video is going to be following that video and you won't know what the hell I'm talking about. So there was a question left on that video, and it was a very valid question. The question was, if the Night King was the Lord of Light, why would he bring back Jon? So if you're like, the Night King is the Lord of Light, what the hell? Then go watch this video. I link it at the top. But if you're all caught up, let's go. So if the Night King was the Lord of Light, then why would he bring back Jon? So let's talk about Jon's rebirth. It's already happened on the show. It's gonna happen in the books, but I'm not sure it will be like the exact same. But let's talk about it, and let's talk about why the Night King would bring back Jon to life, or if he did, or if it wasn't something entirely different. So in order to really have a deep look at this, we need to look at some things. Melisandre, the Night King, Beric, and Jon. So Jon Snow is killed by the men of the Night's Watch in season 5. I still cry when I see that scene. That scene is straight from the books, and basically we don't know what happens after that, and we won't know what happens after that until we get Winds of Winter. But in the show, Jon is brought back by Melisandre. Not in the way that Thoros brings back Beric just by whispering some words, or how Beric gives the last kiss to Lady Stoneheart. Jon's rebirth is different than all of that. Jon is naked and laying on the table. Melisandre cleans him up. Melisandre cuts his hair and trims his beard, throws some of his hair in the fire, and she says something in High Valyrian. We don't know what she says because they didn't subtitle the Valyrian. But when I went to translate it, of course, someone already had, because this fandom is just that fucking awesome. So Redditor Meko translated it using the Valyrian vocabulary page, and it says, "We ask the Lord to shine his light and lead a soul out of darkness. We ask the Lord to share his fire and light a candle that has gone out. From darkness, light. From ashes, fire. From death, life." Then she lays hands on him and repeats it, and she's looking like, this ain't working. This didn't work. Jon's still laying there. People are looking at Melisandre like, girl, you tried it. But eventually, he does come back to life. So what brought him back to life? Was it Melisandre saying the words that she said? Was it her burning his hair? Was it R'hllor? Well, Melisandre asked Jon what he saw when he died. So Jon saw the nothing. The darkness. Just darkness. Would a Lord of Light, heaven, or hell really be just darkness? When Beric is brought back, Thoros says very similar words, although shit is going down around them, like shit is really popping off, so it's hard to hear, but if you really pay attention, you can hear it. I mean, how can you really hear with Arya screaming, "Burn in hell" to the Hound? So anyway, in both scenarios, while they are different, there is a similarity. They are both brought back to life near a weirwood. The wall is basically built on top of a weirwood. The Black Gate is a magical weirwood whose mouth opens and becomes like a tunnel or a secret door at the Night Fort for the Night's Watch. That's how Bran gets past the wall. Then, where Beric fights the Hound and dies, that place is called the Hollow Hill. It's a cave that consists of weirwood roots, huge, gigantic weirwood roots. It's most definitely similar to Bloodraven's cave. It's ancient, and it's likely an old secret tree town of the Children of the Forest. Which means, is it really the Lord of Light bringing these people back? The Night King, the trees, or what? Is it all the same? Melisandre, who is a devout worshiper of the Lord of Light, which means, I guess, she's worshipped the Red God since she was a child. She reads all the books, went to all the fiery masses and services, learned all the prayers, heard of all the gifts R'hllor has to offer, and she thinks what Thoros did was impossible.
I met a man who came back from the dead, but the priest who did it shouldn't have been possible.
But it was.
However, it still happens. Now, let's look at Melisandre. I've done a whole video on Melisandre and who I think she really is, but let's look at something. Melisandre in the books, her powers are stronger at the wall. The carved chest that she had brought across the narrow sea was more than 3/4 empty now. And while Melisandre had the knowledge to make more powders, she lacked many rare ingredients. My spells should suffice. She was stronger at the wall, stronger even than in a shy. Her every word and gesture was more potent, and she could do things that she had never done before. Such shadows as I bring forth here will be terrible, and no creature of the dark will stand before them. With such sorceries at her command, she should soon have no more need of the feeble tricks of alchemists and pyromancers. Why are Melisandre's powers stronger at the wall? Is it because really she's a green seer? Is it because she's closer to her god? Is it because of the weirwoods? Are the weirwoods really gods? Are the weirwoods really good? Now, that's a separate video. I'm not even going to get into that. But nonetheless, both Beric and Jon were brought back by a red priest in impossible situations where their powers seem to be amplified by the existence of the weirwood. Who controls the weirwood is up for debate. I don't know if every time Beric was brought back if he was near a weirwood, but I can only use the examples that I have. So let's assume that the Night King is the Lord of Light. Why would he bring back Jon? Well, has the Night King really even tried to kill Jon? So I don't think that the Night King has tried to kill Jon. I think it's quite the opposite. I think the Night King has had the means to kill Jon on multiple occasions. I think the Night King stares Jon down. I definitely think the Night King could have killed Jon instead of Viserion. I think Drogon and Daenerys would have been easier to kill, way easier to kill than a flying Viserion. The Night King let Jon just leave that place on a horse with whites everywhere, whites under control everywhere. The Night King didn't kill Jon because he doesn't want him dead. I've said on multiple occasions, it's really Bran that the Night King wants to kill. When the Night King finds out that Bran is in the cave, he seeks him out immediately and he kills everybody in that bitch. He kills Bloodraven, he kills the children of the forest, he even killed Summer and Hodor. So if the Night King is really the magical source behind the power that brought Jon back, then why doesn't he want Jon dead? If you've been thinking like I've been thinking, then you know where I'm going with this. Memory, sorrow, and thorn, and false prophecy, and false messengers. We need to go back and look in the ancient stories from long ago. When the daughter of the Opal Emperor succeeded him as the Amethyst Empress, her envious younger brother cast her down and slew her, proclaiming himself the Bloodstone Emperor, and beginning a reign of terror. He practiced dark arts, torture, and necromancy, enslaved his people, took a tiger woman for his bride, feasted on human flesh, and cast down the true gods to worship a black stone that had fallen from the sky. In the annals of the further east, it was the blood betrayal, as his usurpation is named, that ushered in the age of darkness called the Long Night. Despairing of the evil that had been unleashed on the earth, the maiden maid of light turned her back upon the world, and the Lion of Night came forth in all his wrath to punish the wickedness of men. So what do we have here? We have this legend of a blood betrayal that really ushers in this long night. And then we have this prophecy of Azor Ahai that has gotten so many people killed. I mean, can you even count on one hand all the people who have died trying to fulfill this Azor Ahai prophecy? But Azor Ahai, he commits a blood betrayal. He stabs his wife through the heart to forge Lightbringer. Blood fucking betrayal. If we compare it to Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn, in order to be reborn, Inaluki needs these 3 swords to basically come together. So he tricks the people fighting him into believing that they need the swords to come together to beat him. It makes it easy work for him. So maybe the Night King needs this blood betrayal to happen in order for him to be reborn. And this blood betrayal would usher in the Long Night. It will be truly ushered in. How many people think Jon is Azor Ahai and Daenerys is Nissa Nissa, and Jon will have to stab her through the heart in order to beat the Night King? How many of you think that's the betrayal for love? I mean, it adds up. It's been foreshadowed. I think we're supposed to think that. I despise it, but it adds up. So Melisandre already thinks that Azor Ahai is Jon, and she already thinks that Daenerys has a role to play. I bet you do, Melisandre. What role do you think Daenerys has to play? I bet it's Nissa. So if the Night King wants this blood betrayal to happen, then Jon and Daenerys both need to be alive. The Night King has had an opportunity to kill Jon multiple times, and he's had an opportunity to kill Daenerys multiple times, but they need to be alive. Also, this ancient blood betrayal of the Amethyst Empress and the Bloodstone Emperor, this is all great Empire of the Dawn stuff that you can find in the world of Ice and Fire, but it presents itself in the main story, and shout out to LML and Aziz, but when Daenerys wakes the dragons in the books, she dreams of her ancestors with gemstone eyes, and then Euron even says that Daenerys has eyes that are amethyst, so Daenerys is giving off hella Amethyst Empress vibes. So if the Night King needs this blood betrayal to happen, this Azor Ahai prophecy, then the Night King needs Jon to stab Daenerys in the heart. If Jon does that, everybody is doomed and the long night is officially ushered in. But the person that can really stop all of this from happening is Bran. And that's why Bran is the big threat. And that's why the Night King wants to kill Bran, because Bran can stop all of this shit from happening. Because Bran is going to have the ability to access the ancient knowledges that are held within the Weirwoods and beyond. Bran will be able to discover how false this Azor Ahai prophecy is and stop Jon from trying to fulfill it, which would stop the Night King's rebirth and the ushering in of the Long Night. Bran being the real enemy of the Night King, or the real person that can kill the Night King or stop the Night King, is also echoed in Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn. So in Memory and Sorrow and Thorn, there's this league, like the League of Scrolls, and Inaluki, the villain, basically tries to have them all killed so they can't tell people about his plan or about the false messenger. Jon was brought back because the Night King still had need of him. Let Bran die. Seriously, if Bran dies, okay. All the High Valyrian and fire magic in the world won't bring Bran back, because the Night King and his Weirwood net is the true power in Westeros. So what do you think? Do you think that the Night King wants Jon to kill Daenerys in some kin-slaying blood betrayal to usher in the Long Nights? And maybe that's why Jon was brought back, and maybe that's why he brought him back? Let me know. And as always, thanks for watching. Thanks to everyone that supports me on Patreon. Again, thank you for all your support, likes, comments, everything you guys have shown me this year. I hope you guys have a great 2019 and a happy new year. Okay, my sweet summer children, have a good day.